Okay, so hello everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to the second edition of our interview series. I know some of you may know Bressie or Niall, not quite sure what you want me to call you.
Whatever is easiest for you at this point in time.
We'll call you Bressie. But first of all, I just want to say thanks a million for agreeing to chat with us today. And to kind of break the ice, I thought we'd start off with a little bit of quick fire. So I'm going to say 2 words and you just say the first word back. What that comes to you.
Okay. This could go. Really
No, it's fine.
horribly
Okay. So tea or coffee? You just have to
have
say
to
it.
pick?
Yeah, quick. Like, you know, like a quick fire.
Sorry,
Okay.
coffee, sorry.
Tato or King Chris?
Kings,
Sweet or savoury?
savoury,
Pasta or rice?
rice,
Mullingar Shamrocks or St.
Mullingar
Lomans?
shamrocks,
Rugby or Ga?
Ga,
Dublin or London?
Dublin,
Band or solo?
band,
You have to say that. Drums or guitar?
guitar,
Running, cycling or swimming?
cycling,
Half Ironman or full?
full.
The Voice or Ireland's Got Talent?
Oh, Ireland's Got Talent.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs.
Niall Horan or Joe Dolan?
That is unreal. That is not fair. Are we talking about music? Or are we talking about
You can't. Just the first one to come into your
Niall
head.
Dolan?
Not.
Yeah.
And finally, this is just a trick question. Is it true that Mullingar has its own currency?
Yes, it's called the Gar.
Okay.
Fact.
There we go. That was a little easy way
That's
into
good research. Not many people know that. We keep
Do you
that
know?
quiet from the Mullingar Illuminati.
I'll have to have a look into that. Okay. So we're going to bring it way back when you started playing Ga.
Mm-hmm.
And who was kind of your role models when you started playing, or why did you start playing?
Well, it was weird for me. I went to a quite staunch Gaelic school.
Okay.
But I only really started playing rugby later, and I realised I was 6 foot odd when I was 14, 15. It kind of helped. But Gaelic was my kind of like I was obsessed with it. And
Yeah.
I think it was definitely Gaelic gave me the ability to recognise what my athletic capability, what I was capable
Yeah.
of. Because some people are fast or skillful, or some people are very good at hand-eye coordination. It was really good at kind of developing that side of my sport. But the funny one was I've played with a couple of amazing Gaelic players like Bernard Flynn and stuff, but the one that will always, the best player I've ever played with and the player that I liked the most was a guy called Mickey Riley, who was a Westmeath player but played for Mullingar Shamrocks as well. He's tiny, this guy. He was a corner forward. A lot of people would remember him, but I remember he used to say to me, if I ever kick the ball at him in a match, he'll break my nose. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm the quickest person on this pitch. Put it in 100 yards of space and nobody's catching me. So people used to think I was really accurate because I used to always find Mickey, but I just looked for where there was nobody and I'd hoof it in there. So Mickey was my favourite. And then people like Anthony Toho was like at that level, the same position, I was midfield, and he was the type of player I loved. And Dermot Early in Kildare was another player I really looked up to.
Wow. And then when did you transition to rugby, or did you play both at the same time, or did you?
I played both, but when I played rugby at Mullingar, and I was my first position was a prop, which was just because I couldn't find a prop, and I was in there, so I hated it. And I kind of the rugby. Actually, everyone asked me how I got into professional rugby. I put it all down to Gaelic football, but I also put it down to Mullingar had an amazing system, rugby system, youth system at the point, and Joe Schmidt was one of the coaches in Mullingar at the time.
Okay.
So there was a big buzz, and I got into rugby a lot, but it still wasn't enough to, like, I still preferred the idea of Gaelic football. I found it was an easier sport to understand.
Did you take up any other sports, or was it just those two? Or just
I did
rugby
everything.
Then? You did everything?
Yeah, I played soccer. I was not particularly good at it. I was a striker because I was of my height. I think I scored 18 goals in a season. They're all headers. just I didn't even have to jump. But I was soccer. I played everything really. Like, it was never, my parents never pushed me into sport, but I just, growing up in Mullingar, it was literally all I could do to associate with my peers, and people I wanted to hang around with were either musicians or in sport, and some of them were both. So I played everything. I love all sport.
Did you play basketball?
Yeah, I wasn't great at it though.
Really?
I didn't
For
get
someone that's so tall.
the non-contact thing, and
it is contact.
and some of the players that played basketball in Mullingar were quite like, this guy, all he can do is rebound. That's all he's good at.
That's all you need to do.
He's terrible. I'm so good at rebounding, but he couldn't dribble, couldn't shoot.
No.
I was gangly. People always got hurt when I played, but I was a good rebounder.
Well, there you go. Yeah. And balancing the leaving certificate and playing. How did that, like playing rugby, how did that go?
It was funny actually, because the leaving cert was difficult because I was playing with the Irish under-19s at the World Cup rugby in Wales. It was in Bridgend, and the funny thing was Declan Kinney was the coach at the 19s, and he's also a career guidance kind of teacher. He had that side of him, so it's quite important that we disappeared for 3 weeks for this World Cup, that we kept up our studies, and he had time there in camp that we had to spend 2-3 hours studying. Some people did, some didn't. But it was the environment he created for us that made me go, actually, I'm going to keep my head in the books, kind of. And so it wasn't too bad. I didn't enjoy my leaving certs. I have a fundamental issue with the idea of the leaving cert. I don't think it's best serving our youth in any way. So it certainly didn't benefit me doing it. But being able to play sport at the same time in Gaelic was pretty difficult.
And training in school, were you training twice a day, or what were you doing?
In college? College. You would be, because at the time I was on the Leinster Academy, and I just, my second year in Leinster, in UCD, I was brought into the Leinster setup, senior setup, so I was training with them when I could, because I was studying as well, and then I was trying to, but like college for me was a nothing time really in terms of academia. I really lost focus.
What did you go into study?
I did economics, and I just lost I just have no interest. I couldn't even spell it now if you ask me, to be honest. But I didn't enjoy college. I did enjoy learning how to potentially become a professional athlete, because that's where it started, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Finished college.
I left my first year, but I mean, my first year, Westmeath were in the All-Ireland Under-21 semi-final. We had won the All-Ireland the year before, which is, for a Westmeath man, is very unusual. So there was a huge buzz, and I remember Luke Dempsey was the coach, coming up to me going, we want you for, we want you in the squad for the semi-final. And I was in scholarship, and I had to go into Mike John and say, I will not be able to go home and walk around Mullingar if I walk away from this. You have to understand the situation I'm in here. He said, you lose your scholarship if you play that game. I was like, I have to play this game, or my family live in Mullingar. I didn't know what was going on. It was horrible. And unfortunately, a lot of Gaelic players deal with this kind of horrible situation, because you have a community that you want to represent, and you're proud of it, and you've your scholarship, and it was difficult, and nobody was taking me aside to go, right, listen. And I just remember going, feck it, I'm going down, I'm playing. And I didn't think John would notice that I played. I didn't think he read papers, or the fact that it was on TV.
No, it
and I come on 6'6" with the whitest gloves I've ever seen in the dirtiest game against Limerick. And John rang me the next day, and to be fair, he just goes, I'm really disappointed in you, but I understand where you came from in it. But I was like, I'm going to lose my scholarship. But we lost the semi-final by 2 points.
Oh God.
And I ended up marking the guys that I was kind of in campus, Stephen Lucy, who went on to play for, he's a doctor now. I don't know how he's a doctor. He's the maddest man I've ever met in my life.
And then so with your scholarship, what did you do? Did you go back, or how did you do that?
I went back and I finished my degree, and I kind of at that point was like, I knew I was going to be a professional rugby player. I went on to play with the Irish Under-21s at the World Cup in Australia. When I came back from that, I was offered a full-time contract with Leinster. And at that point I was still kind of in college, so I was like, well, this is my job now. But I still like at the time, I think there's a lot more concrete advice to professional rugby players now in careers, and making sure, because it's a really short career. So
what to do after?
But it was my mum and dad saying, I think you really should have this degree in your back pocket and just be comfortable with it. And I'm delighted I ended up doing it, because now I'm on doing masters and stuff, which I would have been able to do.
You're doing a masters now, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's just, I'm glad I did it. I haven't used it, but I do think the focus that you start instilling in yourself when you want to be a professional athlete helps you in whatever it is you're doing, academia or whatever. That focus becomes something inbuilt in you. And it can be difficult too, because you have this horrible fear of failure, and you need to achieve, and all these psychological issues that you have that come along with sport. But it
teaches you kind of something that nothing else will be able to.
Nothing. And I have, like, the respect I have for athletes in Ireland, actually most of my respect is reserved for our kind of Olympic athletes and endurance athletes, and people don't really get a hell of a lot of support, and an awful lot's asked of them, and they sacrifice an awful lot of their lives. I mean, I've witnessed the training some of these people do, and it's mind blowing. And I mean, Leinster's amazing, but you have unbelievable resources. You have everything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's a commercially successful company, essentially, that can provide everything every player needs. Whereas a lot of our maybe Olympic athletes and swimmers and stuff like that, they seem to be constantly fighting for those resources, and there's a lot required. So it's very hard to compete at the level they need to compete at. And people say that shouldn't matter. Of course it matters.
100% matters. Yeah.
Absolutely matters.
I understand that. And